So I think I know the answer to this because it's been pretty much everybody the same answer. But who's the best dunker on this team?
Me. No, probably Malik.
Yeah, well, that's been the guy. Everybody
Yeah.
said. What about him is sort of dazzling everybody?
He's just so explosive, so quickly. Gets off the ground so quick. Jumps so high. It's like looks like a video game.
Yeah. The I think Dylan got
Oh yeah, first day.
posterized.
Terrible. I don't know why he did that to himself.
How often do you think you're going to see that happen over the course of this season? How many posters do you think is Malik Monk going to make this year?
Could be a lot potentially. Guys really think they can jump with him. They're out of their mind, but I'll leave them to make that decision.
Who's the best shot blocker on this team?
I don't know. That's a tough one. All the bigs have been real well with that. There's not really anyone that sticks out in particular.
Okay. Need one stop. Who's your one defensive guy you're going
Where's
to?
the ball at?
Perimeter.
Probably Fox or Isaiah.
All right. Inside, who's it going to be?
Probably Bam.
Yeah. We haven't seen it. I guess you guys haven't seen a ton of him. You probably know what he can do because he had a little bit of an injury. But what do you think is Bam going to bring to this team?
He's gonna be a great post presence. He's extremely skilled, very explosive, very strong, as you can tell. Built like Dwight Howard.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like him. But he's just gonna bring that presence that we need to have. So I think he'll be a great fit for these guys.
You talking about that presence you need? That was the big question mark last year. Is Kentucky tough enough inside? Is that no longer a question? You think with the big guys on this team?
Yeah, I don't think it's a question anymore.
For you, I'm sure you haven't gotten this question, but what is it like to now be here on this team with your dad, the most famous person in the state, being your coach?
That's a great opportunity to be able to be a part of the team. Just being more of a team setting and more of an individual standpoint, which that is what it is. But being able to be in the practice, hanging with the guys all the time it's been a great experience.
Was there ever any hesitation on your part to do this, just knowing like sort of the scrutiny that coaches' sons get when they're in this situation?
Yeah, there was a little bit, but at the end of the day, when it came down to it, I felt like this was the right decision for me.
How you've obviously, the way you look today and the way you looked 2 years ago is like dramatically different. You've obviously put in like a ton of work to get yourself athletically to the point where you can come out here and compete with these guys. Do you come here thinking that at some point I'm not gonna just be John Calipari's son sitting on the end of the bench? I want to contribute.
Definitely, that's been my mindset the whole time.
Yeah. What have the rules changed for you? You have a really fun sort of back and forth with your family, your sisters. The face swap cracked me up. On social media, do the rules change at all now that you're here and you're a player on the team? Have you had any of those conversations with Cal? Are there any sort of quirky things like that maybe change a little bit now that you're actually a player on this team?
Not so much, really. All the stuff that we've had to deal with, like social media wise, I've had to deal with for really since we've been here. So it hasn't really been an issue. If something I can't post before I was on the team, they would have told me to take it down. But they've been monitoring that for a while now.
So it's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
You're kind of always aware that everything you say is going to be hyper scrutinized.
Exactly, under a microscope.
In that way, have you always sort of felt like a Kentucky basketball player? That's the thing that I think probably shocks the new players more than anything is like getting here and realizing that microscope. In that way, have you sort of been under that same microscope your whole life?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
What is it like to be, a visible presence where people can interact with you on social media when there's so many people that like to say nasty things about your dad or say nasty things to your sister? You know what I mean? Like I can't imagine. I'm just a sports writer, and every now and then I get nasty things, but it's like seems kind of constant with your family.
Yeah, all the time. But it is what it is. You can't control what people say or how they see things. They see things from the outside in, so you can't be upset with them for what they don't know. I mean, if they're gonna speak on it, that's their choice. But you can only control what you can control.
What does your dad say to you about that? He's always pretty good at deflecting the haters, but I mean, how has he talked to you about over the years? Like, was there a time when you were younger where that stuff would really get to you? I mean, I have to think it would
Yeah.
when you're a young kid. Like, man,
Yeah.
people are saying
'Cause
nasty
you're
stuff
like-
about my dad.
You're like, what did I do? Like, why are they saying this to me? And like, for what? But I mean, once my older sister, she kind of showed me the ropes of it, just kind of taught me, just kind of went through it with me that you can't really say certain things that other people can say. So you just kind of have to suck it up and just let them say what they need to say.
Every now and then, though, she crushes them.
Oh yeah, she does, but I can't, or I would.
How much fun is it though to watch her do it? Do you get a
we
kick?
talk about
Do
it.
you get a kick out of some of her finer moments on social media?
Yeah, she's pretty slick with what she says. It's funny. She's very funny.
What's your best John Calipari dad memory that we know a lot about your dad because he lives his life in public, but what's your best dad moment on Cal?
Oh man, we were riding bikes one day in Memphis, and the dog leashes that like extend, like they're bigger and the
Yep.
dog can go however far. So we had it on the bike, like the handlebar, so he wasn't holding it. The dog took off down the hill and flipped him over the bike, and like scratched him all up, both elbows, both knees, ripped his shirt up. Yeah, it was funny.
Are there a lot of those with your dad? I
I don't know if he's ridden a bike since then.
he's got the scooter, right?
He does.
That's
he
it. He
does.
sort of slyly rides around town
Yeah.
without being recognized. What's been the highlight of being? I mean, we sort of talked about some of the hard parts about being John Calipari's son. What's been the highlight of that, living here in Lexington and being a part of this Kentucky machine or whatever you want to call it?
Just having the opportunity to be here all the time. You have 24-hour access to the gym, which I love. That's probably the best thing for me, I think. So I've been very grateful to have that opportunity.
You know him really well. What do you think drives your dad the most?
His love for the game.
When he says 40-0, do you shake your head or do you think let's go get it?
Man, I don't know. You want to win every game, but it's a tough one.
Has he always been that guy though that sets goals that most people say are crazy or impossible? And
Yeah, everyone thinks he's crazy, but he knows what he's capable of. So
you again, you know him really well. I've sensed and I've heard from people that know him really well that for months now he's been really giddy about this group of players. Like he
He's
knew
very
what he was
excited.
getting. Like maybe this is the most athletic guys he's ever group of guys he's ever brought in. Have you gotten that at home? Can you tell he's fired up?
He's talked to us about it. He's extremely excited. So I know when he's ready to go, that's means something.
What is it about this group? Why does this group have him so fired up?
Just the potential they have to be great. He knows they can be a great defensive team with the athleticism they have and the versatility they have.
What do you think this year is going to be like for you? It's finally here. You're going to put on a Kentucky uniform and be there in Rupp Arena with them.
I think it'll be great. Just gotta continue to work hard and do my thing.